All right, you two, let's get into it. The hard part, the paperwork, the back and forth, that's all done. Now the real fun begins. Think of this as your personal roadmap, your step-by-step guide to getting those keys in your hand.
And seriously, before we go any further, Colin, Brianne, congratulations. You guys did it. This is huge, a really massive accomplishment. All that hard work, it has totally paid off. You are officially on your way to becoming homeowners.
And look at that, not just any house, right? This is 3615 Valleywood Court. What a great place. And the best part, as of right now, you are officially under contract. This is such an exciting moment, so let's just soak it in for a second.
Okay, so with all that excitement buzzing, I know the big question on your minds is, all right, so what happens now? It can definitely feel like a whirlwind, like a million things are happening at once. That's exactly why we're doing this. We're going to break down every single step, nice and simple.
And you know what's cool? The guide for this whole thing is actually a document you're already familiar with. Your contract. Yep, everything we need is built right in. See this section here? Dates and deadlines? This is our playbook for the next few weeks. Every important date is right here, so let's just walk through it together, step by step.
All right, so first up, the next couple of weeks. This is what we call your due diligence period. Sounds super formal, right? All it really means is this is your time to do your homework, to kick the tires, peek in all the corners, and make absolutely sure this is the perfect home for you. So let's talk about those first big deadlines.
Okay, first things first, earnest money. Now, you've already taken care of this, which is awesome, but it's really important to know what it is. That's $6,000. Think of it as your good faith deposit. It's you telling the seller, hey, we are absolutely serious about buying your house. It's not some extra fee, by the way. It just sits safely in a special account, and then at the very end, it gets applied directly to what you owe at closing. Simple as that.
Okay, now this is a big one. Circle this date in your calendar, February 10th. This date is basically your get-out-of-jail-free card. It's your safety net. By this day, we have to have the inspection done, looked over the title report, and reviewed any HOA documents. Why? Because this date is what gives you the power to object to something or even walk away completely if we find something that just doesn't sit right with you.
So let's break down how that inspection actually works. It's pretty straightforward. First, we'll get it scheduled, like right away. Then the inspector gives us this super detailed report, and you and I will go through it line by line. If we find anything we think the seller should fix, we've got to let them know by our big deadline, February 10th. After that, we have a couple of days until the 12th to work out a solution with them. It's a nice, clear process.
Okay, so while all that inspection stuff is happening, there's another really important track running at the same time, the money side of things. We're talking about the loan and the appraisal. This is all about locking in your financing and making sure all the numbers line up.
So for your loan, there are really 3 key dates to keep in mind. First is February 5th. That's when we need to have your official loan application submitted. Then, by February 18th, you're going to get the loan terms from your lender. That's the exciting part. You get to see your interest rate and monthly payment. And then the final big one is April 2nd. That's when the lender gives the final official thumbs up.
Now, this is something I really want to highlight because people get these 2 dates mixed up all the time. That February 18th loan terms deadline, that one is all about you. It's your chance to look at the numbers and ask, am I happy with this loan? But the April 2nd loan availability deadline, that one's about the lender. It's when they finish all their background work and say, are we happy to give them this loan? See the difference? It's a really important distinction.
Okay, so the other huge piece of this money puzzle is, of course, the purchase price, $440,000. Now, this number is exactly why we have something called an appraisal. Basically, your lender is going to send out a professional appraiser to make sure the house is actually worth what you're agreeing to pay for it.
And here's another way your contract protects you. This is a direct quote, but let me translate the lawyer speak. It basically says, if the appraiser decides the house is worth less than what we offered, you have options. You're not stuck. You can either walk away completely, or we can go back to the seller and say, hey, we need to renegotiate. The bottom line is, you will never be forced to overpay for a property.
All right, let's switch gears to another piece of the puzzle, homeowners insurance. This is a pretty simple step, but it is absolutely critical for protecting your brand new investment. So this isn't just one of those nice-to-have things. It's a must-have. Your lender actually won't give you the money for the loan unless you have proof of homeowners insurance before closing day. It makes sense, right? It protects their investment in the property, but way more importantly, it protects you.
And you're probably noticing a pattern here. The contract gives you another one of those safety net deadlines. You have until February 26 to get your insurance sorted.
And if, for some crazy reason, you can't get a policy that you're happy with, this deadline gives you an out. It's another layer of protection for you both.
Okay, we have talked about the inspections, we've talked about the financing, and now we are on to the best part. The finish line is so close I can taste it. These are the very last steps before you get the keys to your new home.
So here's how it all comes together at the end. We've got that insurance deadline on February 26th, and after that, all eyes are on April 2nd. That's the big one. It's the day the lender gives the final go, and it's also, you guessed it, closing day. Everything happens on that one awesome day.
So you're probably wondering, okay, what does this all mean for the money we need to bring at the end? This little chart breaks it down really simply. We start with the purchase price, right? Then we take away the big chunk your loan is covering. Then we take away that $5,000 the seller is chipping in for your costs. And we also subtract the $6,000 in earnest money you've already put down. After all that, you're left with an estimated $29,000 to bring on closing day.
And that brings us to April 2nd. Picture this. We'll all head over to the title company. You'll sign what feels like a mountain of paperwork. It's not that bad, I promise. The money gets wired over, the county records the deed, and then, just like that, the house is yours. It's an amazing moment.
So that really brings us to the last question. And honestly, it's the most important one. Let's forget about all the contracts and deadlines and numbers for a second. When you two are standing there on the front porch of 3615 Valleywood Court and you have those keys in your hand, what's the very first thing you're going to do?